Hey, what's up, everybody? Wardrobe here. Not too worried about getting the camera real perfect here because I'm mainly going to focus on the screen. But I played scenario 2 of a most fearful sacrifice. You'll come, you'll coming around the mountain or something like that. You'll be coming around the mountain. This is basically a small portion of the day one battles from 2 to 5 p.m. on the northeast side of Gettysburg, north of or west east of Oak Hill. So let's turn the map off here real quick. So here's Oak Hill down here on the bottom left, and there are videos, but well, there's probably a million videos out there. But Jeff from Hex to Hex and myself, Wardrobe, made shorts standing from here with a tour guide who was a friend of ours doing a tour, talking about some of this area. Now, what's funny is at this point in the day, I was like, there's just so much going on because if you look up, this hill's amazing, amazing viewpoint here, and it so if you let me zoom out a little bit. So here's Oak Hill down here, and then this is Chambersburg Pike that's coming up. And so right along this road here is where Buford's cavalry was on the first day and the big attack in the early morning. Well, there's a ton of stuff happening here, all here. So now this is looking north to your left. So this is north over here, west, east, and south. So it's a little disorienting here because the way the map's oriented. But all this stuff is going on that you can see from this hill, and some of the leaders of the armies were up there looking at this. I'm like, that's just crazy to see all that stuff going on. This is when the Confederates were making some progress. Now, I'll tell you what, I've been having a blast with this book that Jeff and I both bought a copy of this, and I'll share it with Andrew or McMurray when he would like to see it. But this Gettysburg Campaign Atlas, which is the Bible, you're going to see this book a lot. You're going to get sick of seeing it, or you're not. I don't know. Probably not, because you're a bunch of nerds like me. So there's a lot of ways to use this book. But what I was just kind of doing, just seeing, comparing this to the game. And I'll tell you what, man, good job, Herman Lutman and all the people that worked on this. I mean, not that I doubted it. And it doesn't have to be exactly like this, right? But this right now is the scale of game I need to really relive this time that the three of us were on the battlefield with the tour with Phil and Aaron. So 5 of us, I guess. But I'm going to share this. It's not going to be great focus. My camera app is not 100% working, but this is north of Gettysburg. Okay. This is north. So that the map you're looking at, it's orientated this way. But you can see, well, it's probably really hard to see. But basically, what we're seeing here is all the Confederates pushing along the north, um, along the north, and then also the east as well and west, just kind of really circling around the Gettysburg, east, north, and west, pushing them down. And what this is going to simulate is just a small portion of Early's corps pushing down on this side of the map, or on this side of the map, as the case may be, over here on the top. So that's what's going on here. I'll just tell you that they got the order of battle so close to this. I was kind of able just to walk through and kind of look at the hours. I mean, again, I know you're not really able to see stuff here, but this is as the battle's progressing, and just kind of cool to see the big picture. And here are the Union troops kind of breaking and moving into Gettysburg, and that's kind of what's supposed to happen here. Well, let me talk about my plan, and we'll see if it happens. So I'm going to go through the log file, and we'll see how this goes. I haven't done this much, and I probably won't do it a whole lot, but it's kind of a fun way of showing it. So this is marking off the play area, simply enough. And I'm going to probably just really zoom in a lot here. So basically what's happening is in this first turn, the 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock turn, so the maps you're seeing were 3 o'clock and later, you have Dole's brigade here, just two of the units here. I think, is that all there are? Yeah. So there's a 7-4 and a 6-4. The 7 and 6 are their strength points. So this brigade is a 13 total manpower. And some guys have they have 1 counter and up to 4. I believe 4 is the most. So And again, I haven't looked into it enough to know how Herm came up with that breakdown. These are demi brigades basically. So you got Dole's brigade, which is made up of regiments. I learned all this. Just I really put it into place from being there at Gettysburg. So brigades are made of regiments, which are made of companies. The smallest size are companies, which is about 35 dudes. And then you have the second number there on the red numbers, their cohesion rating, their morale, however you want to look at them. Those are the two numbers you use all the time. The only thing you really need to worry about in this game is the doles and the color there. You don't. So this is doles of Rhodes Division of the Second Corps. It's kind of a weird way of reading it. Doles Brigade, the smallest, moving up to your right to the Rhodes Division, moving all the way over to the left at the Second Corps. So small in the middle, next size up on the right, biggest on the left. And then you have the cards, of course, that tell you which, who's got who, or who the generals are. We're not going to get into all that. There's a lot of great videos on there how to play this game. I just kind of wanted to let you know that's kind of what those mean. So they've got fours, and there's some of the unions have a 3 and some 2s somewhere. Yeah, 2s. That's really bad. But you want a high number on the cohesion rating. Because you roll a dice. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna really get into that. But my plan was, okay, it's like, well, there's 4. There's this wide open victory hex here. There's 7 victory hexes based on terrain. So this is Penn College, which you see on all the maps I was looking at. This is the brick factory, and then a couple houses and barns. Prominent parts that overlook stuff. So my thought was, let's take Doles in this cannon. We're going to sweep around up here because all of our reinforcements are coming across the bridge. So we're going to come take that thing. So we've got one of the 4 we need. And then I'm going to come over here and get across the bridge and take these 4 that are, over here. Knowing the Union can react to that. We'll see if that was the right move. I'll talk about my corrections. I'm just going to start cursoring through this thing, and we'll go. So I'm just going to start going here. It's going to move around the map. You're going to see a bunch of back and forth. And when you see the red, it's me kind of, talking about who I'm firing into who. And so, well, you can see the Union's starting to move up, and they're like, yeah, we're going to reinforce that. So that starts to change that plan. They go reinforce that. Ignore some of the markings that get put on things because, I'm kind of learning the game, and not kind of, I am learning the game. So we got Osborne's brigade of cavalry. I don't know if that's supposed to be on there. That might have missed Schimmel's brigade. This is Krasinski. It's not Krasinski. That's not 100% right. Osborne. And then this is Ames brigade. And then you had this lone wolf out here, Van Gilsa. So what happens is if you're by yourself, you don't have support, your cohesion rating goes down 1. So you really want to keep your units together. They either in the same hex or side by side. There are restrictions to that. Like we're not going to get into all that. All right, so here we go. Let's keep going. Let's see if I was able to change that or if I had to save. Okay, so here go my guys. I think I don't know what I'm doing there. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I see. I didn't realize there was 2 guys in there. So, like I said, we'll kind of look for general feel. He's firing his artillery. And here he goes into attack. Again, you'll see some back and forth, but generally get it. So I'm just going to keep going here and see if I see something show up. I get an optional crazy rule event happen there. They fire on him. They're firing against an 11. That's a lot. And then they're going to go assault him, and he gets repulsed. So these guys start taking losses very quickly. I'm going to say right now, I don't need to wait. That's my first mistake. They're taking fire from everybody. They're battle worn already. So you have your unit fresh, then you shake, and if you shake again, you flip, and now you're battle worn. You can never recover from that. You can always recover from shaking pretty easily, relatively speaking. There's a lot to it, but it's relatively easy. And then if you shake again here, if you shake, you're fine. But then if you shake again, then there's some things that happen. You're not necessarily destroyed completely, but in this case, in this scenario, you're out. So I'm putting there's some cool things about holds and thing. And it's just kind of some of the fun order of events, the way things happen. Like, they get, strength and morale and all that. I was going to get all saucy with the Yankees and go attack them. And I started thinking about it. And I was like, there's no need to do that. They're getting some Fort Dixie cards. So they're getting some reinforcements in their morale for a turn just for the hour. Fog of War. And then I think I pretty much quickly think, I'm not going to mess with that. That guy keeps going back and forth. It's kind of annoying, but that's the way it is when I'm trying to learn the game. So now I'm thinking, okay, maybe these guys will approach him from a different angle. Let me just tell you right now what I should have done. Here's what I should have done. And this should give you a clue on how the game went. What I should have done is these guys, yes, I wanted to take those 4, and maybe these guys wouldn't be able to take all this on because there's 2 7s here. That's a lot. In fact, now that I look at that, that's 7 2 and 3 8. Oh, maybe I've already moved them around. That's 2 7s there. That's a lot. It's a lot to take out there. But they've only got a 2 rating here. But I'm starting to learn that high number there. That's a lot. That's the highest you can start on the roll. You can get higher on the attack chart. Anyway, so I should have kept these guys down here to keep these guys honest. Because guess what? You'll see what happens because they don't have to worry about it down there because there's nothing coming in there. And then here come we're in the new hour. Here come all the guys. I'm just putting them on the map to make sure I got them all. And I'm trying to learn the Vassal mod. So if I were really cool, I would do this in such a way and edit all this stuff out here. But, I'm not going to mess with that because, you know my channel by now. So here we go. So the cannons are firing on those guys, and they shake them. Like they're getting great rolls here. They're having to skedaddle and move back. I think I got line of sight generally right. So here it goes. I'm pretty confident about what's going to happen here. I'm like, oh yeah, these guys are going to take these guys out. This is not going to be a problem at all. They're going to get across this creek and start threatening the Yanks pretty quick. Cards come up, they start getting good ground. That guy starts really reinforcing across that bridge. I'm like, what the heck? And you'll see some fun things happen here. I feel like my troop movement is such. Look, I knocked him down off there. I'm like, oh, because I got a card. That was great. So there's a card, and you can just move a unit because it's called. Great. I put great timing for the Rebs. The bridge is open. It's a confusion card basically. Like you can move the Confederates can move a unit, or there's a card that the Union can do it to the Confederates. They just wander. They just go wandering off. It's like, great, I got this. Now, like, for example, that guy should have maybe not done that and should have moved into that hex. It's just I wanted to get across that bridge, but you can cross the creek. It's not that big a deal. The bridge isn't that big of a deal. Now that I know that, it saves you some movement points, but really, just cross the creek. Just get across there. Oops. Just get across there, move across any of the spaces. Yes, it's going to cost you 2. It's going to slow you down, but you'll see that I don't move for a long time. There's not a lot of turns in this. 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 4 turns. You don't have time to be sitting here for 2 or 3 turns. You really need to. Now, look what the Union's doing. You're going to see this. Nothing happens here. I mean, not nothing. It actually is kind of cool because they do start to break them, and you can see like, okay, well, they start breaking them. I should have just started pushing up across that river. Like, so look, they take it. They're like, okay, we got this. This is awesome. And they fired and pushed them back. Because you got return fire or approaching fire, so they can fire when you get into their engagement zone, which is pretty cool. But not if you have a unit that's sitting next to it that hasn't moved or is not moving, I guess. So now I'm thinking, okay, I got these guys on the run. This is fantastic. And card pulls, special cards are getting back in. Some of this might have been me. Oh, look. I was showing Jeff on XX how to roll the dice. That's funny. I used real dice here. But this again is me just rolling here because I wanted to show Jeff how to use the dice because he was playing on Vassal as well. He's playing the whole thing. That's what he does. So I think we got a new turn coming up here. We should pull up the turn track actually. Yeah, I could probably put it up here because you don't need to see up there. Okay. So let's try to make this a little faster here. I got reinforcements over here on the right. So this is Coster's brigade. This is it. I get one more artillery and two units in Coster's brigade. I didn't think it'd be much, but they do great because again, it's a very concentrated attack. So I didn't have to worry about anything down south. So now here we are going into 4 o'clock. We have 2 turns left to do this. I'm like, what the heck is happening here? Confederates, I thought were going to steamroll. That 11 up there, I think I shoot them with some artillery at some point. Hancock's now come on, so that allows me to do some more stuff. That 11 did break down, trying to go in after that 10. So I was trying to get a little aggressive with the Union, not maybe with a 2-unit morale. I might have given someone a little too much movement at one point here. I mean, look at this line I'm developing up here. Make it cross the river again. No, someone else to reinforce it. They're coming up to threaten that. They're going to try to go after it here. You'll see that doesn't amount to much. Then I want to go around these freaking guys. Are you kidding me? And they push them back. They get across the creek. So here's where I'm like, oh, just get across the creek. I should play this again, being more aggressive, getting across the creek. Now they're starting to break front here. Now you can kind of see them push. This is what's so cool. Look at it just kind of pushing back. I don't know if being spread out is better or stacked is better. I think maybe being spread out is better. Initially, I was trying to be stacked, but I think spread out because then maybe you can get some surrounding, but you also need to. So I'm pushing some of these. Now we're at we move into the 5 o'clock turn. This is a mistake here. This is not this victory point hex in the middle. This should have been Union. I think I'd catch that later. They hadn't been up there yet. So right now they don't have any. They are 0, and they have to get 4 in one turn. I'm still hoping this 3-3 might get up here and take this guy out and take that. I thought maybe he'll be a hero. I can use my artillery. I'm checking artillery line of sight, seeing what I can do with it. Fog of War, give us some fun stuff. That was always a fun one. He fires on him, breaks him. I'm just getting all kinds of good results with the Union artillery. I guess that kind of makes sense in some ways, maybe. Oh, so Howard Corps leader casualty. This is huge for the last turn so Howard went down, he died, so he gets a replacement leader. But then it turns out it doesn't matter. It's funny because they get another card that allows them to activate. Basically, what happens is they get a really weak leader, and you're really not able to do much. In fact, you may not be able. There's 2 out of 6 chance nothing will happen, which would have been huge. Now you can see. Look at those Confederates getting spicy. This is what they needed to do. So I'm really having to count it out, make sure I'm counting it all right. And so now they've got 2 of the 4 they need. I'm like, sweet, man. We got a lot of cards left. I'm going to save some. I'm also thinking I'm going to save some of my cards that maybe really don't help me as a Confederate, maybe use at the end as a gambit. So what happens is these cards you get, there's an action on the card that you can use immediately or hold it. Or if you don't want to use it for that, there's always something because sometimes you can't use it because it's not relevant to the situation, but there's always something. It's kind of like some of the cards in Combat Commander or Memoir or something. There's always something you can do at the bottom. Like you can always minimum move or fire, which is handy, helpful. And it's just, this game super simulates well, just kind of the sporadic commands and people doing stuff on their own initiative. You're like, what the heck are you doing? More? Great. Thanks for doing that. But also, if you don't use those cards by the end of the turn, you don't lose them because then you guys can go back and forth. So I might get this wrong. Maybe Union I don't remember. One of the sides gets to go first when I'm playing. It's in the sequence of play, but so we'll say it's Confederates. Just So let's say the Confederates have 2 cards and the Union has 1. The Confederate can play one of their cards, and basically, again, you can minimum move or fire. You can't use what's on the card. You can just use the default action. Yeah, default event. So, which is cool because now you can do stuff. So I was saving up, and I wanted to save 4 if I could, unless they would have been more beneficial, so that I could fire and hopefully get the person to skedaddle and get off the thing and then move in. I thought, let's maybe I can do that. So I'm trying to save up some of those. I do successfully save up. You can see they don't help me at all, though. All right. So I'm getting those guys in there, and the Union's like, you know what? We're going to get this guy out of there. Boom. They get him out of there, and they take it. Like, are you flipping kidding me? Pretty awesome there. I'm like, I could not afford that. The Confederates could not afford losing that. Really trying to push here. It's amazing. It's just a really fun way some of the cards landed. Like someone could reinforce, but then someone was able to take them down and good ground. And if you took the time, I was a storyteller, you could really tell a fun story here and just make up some of the reasons, some of the stuff. And okay, so I say, okay, last card, the Rebs will not win this, but I can try to make it within 1. I'll use all my 4. I had 4 on hand fires, and they just basically end up doing nothing, no effect. Shake. I had choices. You could shake or skedaddle. Well, I'm not skedaddling. And then nothing happens. My fire goes into log file. That's as far as I get. This really what should happen here is these guys at a minimum should have these front 2 clear. I mean, if it was going to be like the game, like the real life, all these guys would be moving into Gettysburg and down, and the Confederates have gone. I mean, I feel like and they got some pretty weak cohesion cohesion ratings as well. So I should have moved the camera over here while I did this because I can do that. And I'm looking right at a little bit more at the camera because my screen's right behind it, but I didn't. Okay. Great fun. Again, second scenario. Good job, everybody at Flying Pig and Herman Lutman. And I'm really enjoying my ACW playing right now. I'm going to change the name of my channel. I have actually been thinking about just changing it to Wardrobe Plays because obviously I'm not just sticking to World War II, which I'm happy with. This is cool. Being here, I could go on and on. It's ridiculous. I'm really liking it. This game is the perfect game to have. McMurray, thanks for loaning it to me. I've actually got the game. You saw me playing the first scenario in person. Playing on Vassal is cool. I didn't have to set it up. Of course, it was set up, ready to go. That's fantastic. I got very tired looking at the screen because I'd worked all day looking at the screens like I do, and then worked on this. I played this straight through. Well, not really. I had some breaks. I went to feed the dog and do stuff, but I was up super late playing it, and my eyes got really tired. But I finished it, and that's cool. Again, just like the first scenario, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I mean, in the big battle, this is like one tiny little portion happening in the whole big battlefield here. That's what is so crazy here. Let me see. Got to click that. Let me close that. Let me zoom out. Let me get the pieces off here. This is just the North map, by the way. So there's Gettysburg. And I need to read and find out what counts as the town. I was a little confused about what the town is. Like, I assumed Penn College and the brickyard, whatever that is, brick factory would be the town. But you start to get here like this one building. I'm like, well, is that town? I mean, is that one hex their town? Because most of the time, these buildings, they don't mean anything. They're just there for victory point locations. Like this up here, is that anything? So this is Seminary Ridge up here. Here's Cemetery Hill. You saw Oak Hill. And this does have Hare's Ridge is over here. Yeah. And then the first game took place on the south map because I don't think, yeah. And this is another reason why I was there. I did a 5-hour tour, guided tour. And I keep changing the number. I'm going to say 25 to 30% of the battlefield. I saw this, which showed me that, but And we drove and we saw some stuff. I think we saw these cuts down here, and we definitely stood here and looked at the attack and stood up here and we talked about it. And then I think we drove from here over to here somewhere. I'm like, but we didn't really go over here. We didn't spend any time over here. We didn't spend time on this. So we didn't walk this. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that was 5 hours of great time together discussing and learning. And I really solidified a lot of things. I think the high point of the Battle of Gettysburg is down here, I think. Or is it over here? I need to be quiet. Anyway, I think it's down here. Oh, yeah. And we just saw like little portions of it. It's like, it's amazing. I'm sure like Battle of the Bulge would be the same way. And Normandy, right? I mean, think about that whole, like, Gettysburg is 3-day battle. Those battles took, many days, but D-Day, the first 3 days, imagine the 3 days. Think about all that land. And so just think of this. This is in a relatively small area compared to that. And here, there's just so much to see and spend time. Going through the town and like what happened in the town here. This could be an annual pilgrimage to go just spend time in Gettysburg. And what I would do would be, I don't know if I'd want a tour guide all day long, because that would be a lot to take in like that. I almost wonder if you do half a day tour guide, half a day just kind of walking around, just kind of resting your mind, spending time just looking over the land, and say, I'm going to spend. I mean, think about all the things you could do here. You could go, I'm just going to focus on day one. I'm going for this trip. I'm going to go for 2 days, 3 days. I'm going to focus on day one for 3 days. I'm going to focus on Buford only. I'm going to focus on, I'm going to mess up names here. I'm going to focus on, and not Longstreet, because you'd want to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to focus on the blank brigade, what they did during their time here. They were here, then they were over here. And you could just do that. And I'm going to walk the, it's almost like doing, well, I'm going to do a battle walk. What did they experience? I'm going to do what, again, I don't know. I think probably doing a Confederate side would be good on that one, because they did the most kind of movement getting in. But you could also do, I'm sure there's some, in fact, I know there are, like, what the 20th Maine do all this time, and like what were they doing? Really focus on them. And because the movie Gettysburg's got a big chunk on them, so and their battle was amazing. Like what happened was incredible. But then there's a bunch of people with incredible stories, so there's so many things. You could definitely make this a pilgrimage to Gettysburg. And okay, well, I was saying what I was going to do. This is what I do, people. My mind goes everywhere. So go there for a couple days and have a focus. I'm going to do day one, tour guide with a specific focus, because they'll do it. You could say, I want to focus, and you've got this atlas now. I would definitely take this atlas. I might take a game map and just really look at it, take pictures, think about things, and look at that and make some comparisons. I kind of tried to do that with P Ridge. I couldn't get into the game I had, so I need to borrow that from McMurray. He's got a blind sword. I'm now like, oh my gosh, am I a blind sword fanatic? I know this is different a little bit, but very similar, right? Because you could do that at P Ridge too. But anyway, day one, spend 1 or 2 days with a guide in the first half of the day, and then just walk the field, kind of take it in, really understand the history of whatever it is you want to focus on. And then one of the days, I think, should be some of the approach battles. So you can see, like we saw some, like what were some of the things. So that way you can kind of see some of the other battlefields and like what else was happening, what led to this, and then what happened after this. I think that would be so that you can kind of broaden stuff and see some of the other parks. I think you could spend this kind of time at Antietam, even though it's 1 day. There's so many things that happen there. Obviously, I've seen the books that are written about it. Yeah, I can see why people become Civil War kind of fanatics. It's just harder to do this with World War II, and it's the names and the personalities. I'm like, am I getting sucked in? I'm too old for this. Yeah, there's a lot of things you could do. And going to Gettysburg is a lot cheaper than going to Europe. And I sort of speak the language over there. Now, when I got into West Virginia, I didn't know what they were talking about. All right. So again, I can't thank Jeff Hex to Hex for hosting us enough and kind of sending me down this road. Who knows how long this little obsession will last, but it's been great. Thanks to Phil and Aaron who were there as well, gave help with the tour. McMurray for being in the car with me for 24 hours, 12 back, 12 there, 12 back. Great time. Thanks a lot, all. You're great. We'll talk to you later. See ya.